Hey everybody, I'm Connor and I'm back for another Pokemon card deck profile. This time we're going to be doing it through the Pokemon trading card game online, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already. It's definitely easier if you can't get a hold of physical cards. You can just come on here and try a couple of different decks out, see what you like. Although it's not always the best for matches because you'll get loads of random matches against just people that have stupid decks, honestly, but it's still a good tool to put decks together and see what you like. You can see how it runs, that kind of thing. But today we're going to be looking at my Primal Kyogre deck for post rotation, and I'm going to be giving you a profile here and hopefully get a couple of matches in. So the deck is going to be kind of like the water box deck that is out at the moment and that you may see around in the current standards, but we've kind of adapted it and include some bigger hitters in Primal Kyogre here. So looking at the first basic Kyogre EX, it's just a standard 180 HP water Pokemon. Its attacks aren't too overwhelming, but we'll take a look at the Water Pulse attack, since it does 30 for water and colourless, and then your opponent's defending Pokemon is instantly asleep. This is great early game if you just need to stall for a couple of turns while you get set up, but you're not going to be looking to attack with this guy very often. And it's also important to note that you have a weakness to grass, which, it's just nice to know these things for the next format. But ultimately we're going to be evolving him into the Primal Kyogre here. He has a huge 240 HP, which is the second highest in the game, and this is going to be crucial for dodging knockouts against other big EX Pokemon. And it has the ancient trait Growth, which means that when you attach any energy card to it, you're able to attach another energy card to it. This is great for acceleration since its energy cost for the attack is 3 water energy and a colorless. And then you're going to be able to do 150 damage, which is quite a lot. You're going to be knocking out all the stage 2s, things like Xerneas Break and Yveltal Break have 150 HP, and it's going to be doing a huge amount of damage to EX Pokemon. But then its effect here, you get to move 2 energy cards, so it doesn't have to be all water, just 2 energy cards from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon, and then you do 30 damage to each of your opponent's EX Pokemon. So you're not only going to be doing a huge amount of damage to the defending Pokemon, but you're going to be doing spread damage to EX Pokemon. This is great because 150 add to the 30 is going to be 180, just like Kyogre here. A lot of EXs have 180 HP, and it's going to be great for stacking up knockouts with Lysander later in the game, or just getting a couple of multiple knockouts if you're able to. So since we have those, we're going to be pairing them with a couple of Pokemon that we can move the energy to attack with, but since it has such high retreat cost, we want to be able to switch for free, so we'll be using 2 of these Manaphy EX for Aqua Tube ability. Whenever you have a Pokemon that has water energy attached to it, you get free retreat. So you can see here, almost everything is going to be having a water energy to attack anyway, so everything will have free retreat. So we're running 2 Manaphy, a 3/3 Primal Kyogre line, and this is going to be the core of the deck. And then apart from this, you're going to be able to change what other Pokemon you want to include in the deck, since you don't have to use water Pokemon, you could use colourless Pokemon. But let's go through what I'm using. Got 1 Hoopet in here just for Scoundrel Ring, so you get to search up to 3 EXs out of your deck. You got 1 Shaman for setup, just get to draw some extra cards if you need them. Then we have 1 Articuno. This is great if you're against an EX heavy deck. You're going to be doing a lot of damage with, Tidal Storm, hitting for 150 with Primal Kyogre. Then you can come in here with Tri-Edge and try and get 3 prizes on an EX with the plus Ancient Trait, giving you an extra prize when you take a knockout. We also have a Glaceon EX, so this is for your matches like against big kind of other Mega Evolutions, say Mega Mewtwo, Mega Rayquaza, all the kind of Stage 2 decks. If they come up in the next format, but also since Primal Kyogre is weak to grass, this is going to be great against Mega Sceptile, and that's going to be really helpful in kind of giving us a fair fight against grass decks that have evolutions in them. We also have a Kyurem EX in here, which is an unusual card. I may change this out eventually, but at the moment I'm trying it out. It's got Glaciate for 2 water and colourless. You get to do 30 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. This is just nice for spread damage. You know, Primal Kyogre's spread damage only hits EX Pokemon, so this is just a way for us to spread the damage. And if we need to, we can use its second attack here. It's called Ice Caliber, which is just an awesome attack name. It does 130 for 3 water and a colourless, and then if you discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, the defending Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn, so that may be useful just in a kind of clutch situation, but most of the time we're going to be focusing on Glaciate just to get some nice damage on the board. Then we also, to finish off the Pokemon, have one Regice, just again against EX Pokemon heavy decks. It's just going to give us a better matchup overall across the board. You know, hitting big damage and then going into Pokemon like Regice and Glaceon to stall or kind of wall against our opponent. Going into the trainer cards, we have 4 Dive Ball, get to search your deck for a water Pokemon, which is going to search out everything except for our Hippo and Shaman. We also have 3 Ultra Ball, just so that we can ensure to get our Shaman and Hoopas and also thin the deck out, you know, discarding cards. And to go along with that, you know, we can discard Water Energy and then get that back later with Mega Turbo. It's going to help us with our acceleration onto Primal Kyogre, since even though it is a Primal, it does also count as a Mega, which means Mega Turbo will work. We're also playing 4 copies of Max Elixir for more speed and consistency. We're playing a high energy count, so Max Elixir is going to hit most of the time, and it's just a great card. You know, using it in the majority of your decks that have a lot of basic Pokemon, it's really going to speed up your consistency. And this is definitely something that Primal Kyogre was missing before, like in the past standard format. We're also playing 1 Professor's Letter just to search out energy as we need it. Since we get to attach 2 to Primal Kyogre, we can just search 2 out of our deck and then attach them straight away. Playing 1 Super Rod just to recycle some Pokemon and energy if we need to. Of course, playing 4 VS Seeker. You know, some people are saying that this might change in the next format, but I think 4 VS Seeker is still going to be extremely strong, and so far it's been working out just as well as it always has been. Playing 1 copy of Fisherman, just if we lose a Primal Kyogre EX, and then we can get all of that 4 energy back in the following turn, attach 2 of them, or just slowly attach to whatever we need to, since all of our other Pokemon's attacks, like Articuno, Glaceon, Regice, they all have 3 attack cost, energy cost. So we're going to be moving 2 energy with Primal Kyogre to them when we need to, and then just attach another one from hand. So Fisherman's going to be coming in useful. At the moment I have a Hex Maniac in here, although it's mainly because Ninja Boy doesn't work online, but I think I'll definitely try it this deck out with Ninja Boy, since we can then swap either our Shaman or our Hoopa. Once we play them, they're just going to be sitting on the bench for the whole game, taking up bench space, and it's not going to be extremely great for our bench space, and it's just going to sit there, act as a target. But with Ninja Boy we can switch these out, we can move energy, then switch them out if we need to. It's going to allow us to have another bench space for one of these other attackers, which is going to be really crucial. This deck doesn't really worry about abilities, because things like Carbink, we've got ways to go through it, like Articuno and Regice, or we can Lysander around it here, because we're playing 2 copies of Lysander. Just bring up one of your opponent's Pokemon. Then we've got 3 copies of N, just always going to be great shuffle draw and disruption in the late game. 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, just to discard our hands and draw more cards. 3 copies of Rough Seas. We're going to be switching a lot since we have free retreat, so just the ability to heal up is going to be very useful. And I've also got 3 Spirit Links, of course, for the Kyogres, and a total of 10 water energy, since we're going to be able to hit max elixir a lot of the time, and a lot of our Pokemon have a 3 or even 4 attack cost, and then we can just keep all that energy in play. In terms of matchups, we're going to be moving energy with Primal Kyogre, so we're not too worried about Mega Mewtwo unless they stack up a bunch of energy, but we're always going to be moving it around, and we have lots of HP, and we have Rough Seas to heal it. Mega Rayquaza is kind of a harder one, along with Mega Sceptile, although we do have things like Glaceon and Regice to deal with those and kind of wall out against them. And overall, it's just a very strong deck. It's definitely a very fun deck. I'm definitely enjoying playing it. And we'll go in here and try and get some matches for you. Oh, it's a new ladder as well. That's pretty cool. And make sure that I'm actually in standard, because I'd probably have to change this for expanded if I was to play it in there. So let's find it. I believe it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Just gotta double check since I have 3 deck boxes the same. It gets a bit confusing. But we'll see what we're up against here. It's a fighting and colourless. This could be Zygarde or some other variation. So we do actually win the coin toss, and I'm going to take first. Hopefully we can get a bunch of energy down quickly, and this is just awful. Like, what is this hand? Like, the 2 things that you don't want to start with. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Shaman, because at least then we can get a couple of EXs going with Hoopa. And this is just another reason that Ninja Boy will be an extremely useful card in this deck. You know, getting a start like this, we can just Ninja Boy and get this out of the way, and then we can at least still have access to it later in the game if we need to. But I'll just go ahead here and hit the Hoopa. Scoundrel Ring, it looks like we're against a Garchomp deck, and I guess colourless could be Shaman if they're playing that. So I'm going to grab my Glaceon since we can wall with that. And we've prized a Manaphy, but that's fine, I can take this one. And I've got a Dive Ball here to get something else. I might just save it for next turn, where I can get my Primal Kyogre out. Not too worried about the Spirit Link, honestly. And I think I want to put my Glaceon down now, because then at least we can power it up quicker. Okay, missed that max elixir, that's fine. We have 3 energy in hand, it's understandable. And then we can just pass the turn and see what they have. It looks like we're just going to be dead drawing for the next couple of turns, unfortunately. So we see an Ultra Ball from my opponent, and he's going to discard a Central Lady and a Lysander. It's interesting. Central Lady would definitely be an interesting choice in Kyogre as well, as you get to remove all the status conditions and it's going to help heal you up as well. And I was right that he is indeed playing Shaman, just to get him some extra cards. And we see a Karina, so this is definitely not a post-rotation deck, as although Center Lady will still be around, Karina is going to be rotated if you haven't already heard, but he's also playing a Lucario by the looks, and he misses the energy. Oh no, it gets it on here for some reason. I guess he's not too bothered about the active, and we do indeed draw a Sycamore, so that's going to be helpful. Play out this Dive Ball first though. And do I want to take a Kyogre or a Kyogre? Let's see. I'm gonna go with a second Kyogre, I think. So at least then we can get 2 going, and we can get a huge amount of damage out. So we'll play our Rough Seas and attach some energy, and then just Sycamore. Oh no, this hand is just as bad. Okay, well, we can get the Primal out at least. At the very least. Get the nice full art one. And we can just shove that down, gets it out at least. And then hopefully we can draw into a Mega Turbo, and then hopefully it'll be powered up. See if my opponent has much of anything. So we see a Rare Candy and Garchomp. Do they have the energy for it as well? I'm not sure how well this matchup might go, as although fighting is losing Karina and Lucario, there will still be a Zygarde EX in the next format, so you know this could be a feasible matchup if you kind of go against this in your testing, or if you want to play Kyogre in the next format. I think it's going to be a very strong deck. It's definitely a contender that I don't think a huge amount of people have really put a lot of thought into, but we'll see how it plays out. It looks like it's going to be able to get the knockout on my Shaman here, but we can just put up our Glaceon. Oh no, he chooses not to get the knockout. It's interesting. But we draw into the Max Elixir, and we do indeed hit it this time, which is good. I'm going to want to put it onto Glaceon, power that guy up, and then just power up our Primal Kyogre here. And that way we can get a bunch of damage onto the field. Next turn, I think. We'll see if he knocks out our Shaman. If not, we can use our Professor's Letter or Fisherman for that energy, attach it to Shaman, retreat. We can start getting some damage out here. So we see a VS Seeker for Lysander. It's going to be going into Glaceon for the knockout, which is a bit unfortunate. There's not much we could have done about that. However, we can get the return knockout with our Primal Kyogre. And we get the Spirit Link as well, so we might as well play that down. And I'll go for Fisherman. Not drawn into Mega Turbo right now, so we might as well recycle all of this energy. We can just attach it to the active and get the knockout. And I'll hold on to the Articuno just in case there's something else I want to bench. We're also going to hit that Lucario for 30 damage, which is nice. And move 2 energy to the bench. Hopefully get a good prize. Another Manaphy, of course. Of course it is. Something that's not incredibly useful right now. But it's going to take 2 turns for him to attack with this Garchomp that's in the active, so we'll see if he can pull anything out here. See a VS Seeker going for another Karina. This is what, the 3rd Karina now? Yeah. So I hope you're all having a good day and enjoying the video, and let me know in the comments what you're thinking about potentially playing in the next format. If you have any ideas yet, or if you're going to be trying a couple of different decks out, be sure to let me know. So from that Karina we see a Focus Sash and a Gibble, and it's going to hit us for 60 and accelerate the energy, which is fine by me. We're unfortunately not going to be able to get a one-hit knockout here, so we can heal the damage at least. Let's see what we can do here. We can actually put him to sleep. I think I'll attach these two energy to the active, and then I'll retreat into my other one here, because then at least he can't use his focus sash. Or do we just keep this active and then hit these? I think that's probably the better play. We can then hit these and do more damage. Just means that we're going to have to move our energy, unfortunately. But we can move on to this benched Kyogre. We've got the letter in hand, so we can get 2 more energy if we need to. At least that breaks his focus sash, and then we're going to be able to knock out these eventually. We see a rare candy into another Garchomp. So, what's my opponent going to grab here? Another Karina. He likes those Karina. So, I might just see another Pokemon, more energy. Could see a letter for energy. I definitely see that happening. Could hit us for 180. At which point, I mean, he doesn't really have a response, because then we're going to knock him out with our benched Kyogre. See a Hawlucha coming out, and a Professor's Letter as predicted for 2 fighting energy. And he's going to hit us for 160 damage, which is fine because we've got Rough Seas out. And we've top deck Sycamore, which is great. So I'll go ahead and bench this Articuno and play my Professor's Letter. And we can go ahead and attach them both to the active, and we should also get our next Primal Kyogre off of the Sycamore. Because we don't really need any of the stuff that's in our hand. And there we go, we got the dive ball for it. So I'll go ahead and grab that. We can retreat into it since it will not be damaged at all. And we've got free retreat with Manaphy, so we can just switch it over. Unfortunately, this already has 4 energy on it, so I think I'm going to have to put it onto the Articuno here. And we're just building up damage on his bench as well, which means next turn I'm going to be taking out this Shaman if we go with a Tidal Storm. And we even have the energy to take 2 prizes with Articuno if we flip correctly. So we'll see if my opponent can pull anything out here. This is definitely a very versatile deck with a lot of choices, as you can you can see that you can really play anything with it. Like, you don't even need the shamans in here. You could just have one Hoopa if you wanted to, or you could even take something like Kyurem EX out and put in more shamans. But you see an Ultra Ball here. My opponent's playing Float Stones and getting rid of fighting energy. Shaman EX and gets energy on the Garchomp. He's going to hit us for 160 again by the looks. He has strong energy on there actually. So he's hitting for 200 damage. However, he does not have a focus sash this time, and he concedes the game, saying that there's not a huge amount he could do. Because we were going to knock out that Garchomp and then take 2 prizes off of the Shaman as well, which would have put us down to 1 prize card left. So you can't really withstand a Tidal Storm turn after turn, but hopefully you enjoyed this, and be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content and more videos in the future. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.